It all started when I bought my first electric car, something I was super excited about. Quiet, clean, and perfect for my daily drive. But the excitement didn't last long. The moment I plugged it in at my townhouse, the HOA president, who everyone in the neighborhood calls Karen, showed up at my door fuming. She claimed charging my car in my own driveway was against HOA rules. No noise, no pollution, no mess, but still a problem for her. She said it was unsightly and might bring down property values. Seriously? Now let me tell you, Karen runs the HOA like a personal kingdom. If your grass is too long, she'll fine you. Paint your front door the wrong shade of beige. She'll bring a clipboard to your porch within the hour. I tried reasoning with her, even offered to set up a low-visibility charger, but she wasn't having it. She threatened to fine me daily and even hinted at legal action. That's when I decided, if she wants to play hardball, I'll play chess. So I looked around for options, and guess what I found? Karen's pool, running a power line straight from her garage, and that gave me an idea. One that would prove just how visible electricity can really be. So here's where things got interesting. While Karen was busy sending me warning letters and obsessively patrolling the neighborhood like she was on some HOA mission, I started doing a little digging, not into her yard, but into her setup. I noticed something strange one night when I was out for a walk. Her pool lights were glowing bright, even though her house looked totally dark. That got me curious. A few evenings of quiet observation later, I noticed a pattern. Her pool and some outdoor appliances seemed to run off a separate power source. Now, I'm not an electrician, but I know a bit about circuits and wiring, and with a little help from a friend who used to work in residential maintenance, we figured it out. Karen had wired a separate extension from her garage to power her pool, bypassing some of the standard limits in the HOA guidelines, the same rules she claimed I was violating. Hypocrisy at its finest. So while she was lecturing me about my car charger being an eyesore, she was running a whole backyard light show that wasn't even approved. I didn't act right away. I needed a plan. Something subtle, something clever. I wasn't out for revenge. I just wanted to show her what double standards look like, up close. As the days went on, Karen got more aggressive. She started snapping photos of my driveway, circling parts of the HOA rulebook in red ink, and taping them to my door. One morning, I even found a note slipped under my windshield wiper that said, "Asterisk, take it elsewhere, or else." Asterisk, no name of course. The handwriting looked awfully familiar. Meanwhile, I kept collecting details. I took photos of her pool lights running past quiet hours, her unauthorized garden shed built too close to the fence line, and even her second freezer plugged into an outdoor outlet, another violation the HOA conveniently overlooked. But it wasn't just about Karen anymore. A few neighbors started pulling me aside. One whispered, she fined me for having a flower pot on my front step. Another said, she threatened to revoke my mailbox access over a flag. It became clear that I wasn't the only one caught in her web of control. That's when an idea started forming. What if I wasn't just pushing back for myself? What if this became something bigger? Still, I knew I had to be smart. Karen thrived on drama, and if she caught even a whiff of what I was planning, she'd shut it down fast. So I stayed quiet. I waited, and I kept watching that pool, because soon it would all connect. Things really started to heat up when Karen called an emergency HOA meeting, just to discuss unauthorized electric vehicle activity. Her words, not mine. She handed out printed photos of my car, circled the charging cable like it was some kind of criminal evidence, and gave this dramatic speech about how electric cars were changing the look and feel of the neighborhood. It was so over the top, some people actually laughed, but Karen didn't flinch. She pushed for a motion to ban all outdoor EV charging, period. That was the moment I knew I couldn't wait any longer. I'd already gathered enough proof of her own violations to raise serious questions, but I needed to make sure it would land. So I met with a few neighbors privately, those she'd messed with, fined unfairly, or silenced. I showed them the photos, the discrepancies, the power usage logs I'd tracked, even a clip of her lights running after quiet hours. The reactions were exactly what I hoped for: shock, disbelief, and then quiet fury. People were tired of it. Tired of being bullied over nonsense, while Karen quietly bent every rule in the book behind the scenes. I told them I had a plan, one that would reveal everything, right in front of her. All I needed was the right moment, and I didn't have to wait long, because that moment was already coming. Just when I thought I had everything lined up, something unexpected happened that changed the game completely. The night before I planned to confront Karen at the next HOA meeting, I got a knock at my door. It was Marcus, one of the newer neighbors, pretty quiet guy, always kept to himself. He looked nervous, said he didn't want to get involved at first, but he'd seen Karen snooping around my property earlier that day, with a clipboard and a camera. Then he said something that stopped me cold. "She's been tapping into your outdoor outlet too." I blinked. "What do you mean?" Marcus told me he had security footage from his doorbell cam, Karen walking over to the side of my house while I was at work, plugging something in, then quickly walking away. At first he thought it was a mistake, until he saw her do it twice. He showed me the footage. Clear as day. She'd been drawing power from my line, maybe for her pool equipment or outdoor lighting, the same setup she was accusing me of misusing. That changed everything. This wasn't just a petty power trip anymore. It was deeper, shadier. She wasn't just enforcing double standards, she was literally stealing electricity while threatening me for using mine. Now it wasn't just about defending myself, it was about exposing the whole truth. The next HOA meeting was packed, more than I'd ever seen. Word had spread that something big was going down, and Karen stood at the front like she was running for mayor. She launched into her usual speech, waving around more photos of my EV charger, claiming it was unsafe, unauthorized, and hurting neighborhood standards. That's when I stood up and asked if I could share a few things of my own. I started with the basics: photos of her backyard setup, timestamps showing her pool lights running way past HOA quiet hours, even her garden shed being out of spec. She shifted in her seat, but tried to brush it off. Then I showed the footage. Karen in broad daylight, plugging into my outlet. Gasps went around the room. I paused it, zoomed in. No room for doubt. "I thought charging an EV in your own driveway was bad," I said. "But stealing power from your neighbor's outlet, that seems worse." Karen didn't say a word. Her face went pale. A few board members turned to each other, whispering. It was silent except for the hum of the ceiling fan. Then came the twist. One of the board members stood up and said, "Actually, we've been reviewing the HOA's finances, and we found something else, tied to her pool maintenance receipts." Turns out, electricity wasn't the only thing she'd been taking. The room erupted. Turns out Karen had been submitting pool-related expenses to the HOA's shared maintenance fund, things like filter replacements and electrical upgrades that had nothing to do with public property. She'd been quietly funneling those charges through for months, maybe longer. With the video proof and the financial audit, the board had no choice but to act. Within a week, Karen was asked to step down as HOA president. Her backyard setup was shut down, and she received a formal warning about misusing both HOA funds and a neighbor's electricity. After that, the neighborhood felt different, lighter, somehow. People started talking more, comparing notes, even laughing about how intense things had gotten. My EV charger, it's still in the same spot. Approved this time, officially logged and cleared. A few other neighbors even asked for tips on getting their own setups installed. The HOA started rewriting some outdated rules, including a clear policy on electric vehicles and energy use. Looking back, it wasn't just about an electric car or a petty argument. It was about standing up to unfair power, literally and figuratively. So yeah, Karen tried to ban my EV, But in the end, she sparked a neighborhood change she never saw coming.